The game. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
The third period was great. The third period of that hockey game was out of this world good. It was tremendous. Nonetheless, you know what Jim Murray would say if he were here today? All due respect, Joe. You know what Jim Murray would say? When did we become such a town full of losers? Why are we losers now? We can't win games. We're losers. That's what it feels like. The Bruins crap their pants routinely in the third period, up 2-1 going into the third. The Wild scored 2 goals in front of the net with Bruins defensemen falling all over themselves. The first one was Carlo. The second one was McAvoy, who got the puck stuck in his skates. So, I don't blame really Ullmark on either one. I know what Ullmark said after the game, that he has to make more saves. I don't think either one of those was his fault. I think the Bruins couldn't police the front of the net. The Wild turned up the heat, and it's the same crap. The Bruins crack in these spots where opponents turn up the heat, let alone the overtime goal, which we'll get to later. But I just think that teams put pressure on them. How many games have they blown in the third period now? Do you have
6.
that stat?
6.
It's unbelievable.
4 straight.
When is it? You said what now, Joe?
They'd 6 in the year, 4 straight games where they've had a lead and blew it in the third period.
Holy smokes. So last year in that spot, leading after 2, they were 47-1-2. Okay, they were a lockdown team. Lock it down. 47-1-2 in that spot last year. This year, they've already lost 6 of those games. They have a win percentage in that spot of only .684, which is 29th in the league. As Jimmy Stewart here, or Joe, whoever put this in here, only Columbus, Calgary, and San Jose have been worse at protecting leads through 40 minutes. And one of the worst teams in the league in that spot, after being the best team in the league in that spot. And then Florida exposed them, and they still haven't recovered. They're still that team. So, yes, a horrible pressure team. A horrible team in that moment when the pressure gets ramped up, they can't seem to handle it. They're still that team. That's still the story last night. However, I will give it a however. It's not like they were up 4-1. When you're only scoring 2 or 3 goals a night, which is where they're at, and you're leading 2-1, it's hard to win every night 2-1. And you're asking a hell of a lot of your goaltending and your penalty killing. And, play in your own end. So, last night, as much as anything, to me, is they can't put the puck in the net. And the loss of Bergeron and Krejci, I feel like the last month has really sort of caught up to them. I think it shows up in these moments, too. Make no mistake. If you were winning a few more faceoffs there, Patrice Bergeron in his own end, you're probably closing out some of these games. So, obviously Bergeron's a factor on that end, clearly. But offensively, they're only scoring a couple goals a night. So you're going to be in these close games. You're going to lose some of them. That, I think, was the story last night. Pastrnak and Marchand. Marchand and Pastrnak. They're back in this thing where they only get goals from a couple guys, and you can't be expected to win. And so that I think, was the story. I know, Joe, you had something on that.
Yeah, just when it comes to those 2 players you mentioned, I'd love to point out that, this guy didn't play well but between the big guys. But, yeah, when it comes down to key players, they're only getting really scoring from Coyle, right? And then who else besides Pastrnak and Marchand? But the other thing is this: Jake DeBrusk. What's happened to him? He had a big whiff last night.
I want to put him off for a moment.
Yeah,
finish on this.
We'll put him off for a bit, but Poitras is now gone. I haven't heard you guys in your thoughts on Poitras now not being around here anymore. But I know they were kind of phasing him out a little bit, or at least giving him nights off. They needed him, and now he's going to be gone for a bit. And they might have to look at maybe moving on from a goalie. I know that we were shamed for that when we were talking about it at one point. It's their identity. Their identity right now is they can't stop anybody in the third period, and they can't get scoring from anyone else. So where do they get better here, Mike? Because the only thing I look at is maybe moving on from a goalie to bring in some more offense.
Mike,
it's obvious.
Yeah,
I've been
Mike,
saying it for months.
So listen, the thing about the scoring, if they had lost to Vegas last night, I would agree with you. Minnesota.
Without 3 of their players last night.
Okay, Minnesota blows. Minnesota's not good. And how are the Bruins built? They built the team this way this year. The whole idea was our decor and our goaltending. We'll keep the puck out of the net. We will beat you 3-2, 2-1, 3-1. You'll pull the goalie. Late in the game, we'll have a 2-1 lead. We'll put in an empty netter. We win the game 3-1. That's how they're built to win, against bad teams especially. And they blow that? So that to me, that's where I draw a line. Like, okay, if it's Vegas, well, they don't have the horses. They don't have the offensive horses to keep up with a high-scoring team that won the cup. Like, fine, no problem. Minnesota? Like, this is what's happening now with Minnesota. Charlie McAvoy's fumbling around looking for the puck in the middle of his skates, and Brandon Carlo ends up on his ass just to the goalie's left. That's scary.
Fair enough. Jake DeBrusk, Mazz, your thoughts?
Okay. For all I know, the guy can recite every one of Einstein's theories. On the ice, he's a dope. That play last night in overtime, he missed the net by 10 feet. And what did it lead to? An odd man rush the other way, pucks in the net, game's over. He's just out there sometimes. It feels like he's
out for a skate, man.
He is. He's just effing around. He's playing pond hockey. I used to criticize Pasternak for this. I thought Pasternak played a terrific game last night. I mean, he was all over the ice, getting opportunity after opportunity. At one point, I thought he's got to have like 15 shots on net. It was unbelievable. But that aside, and he still makes sloppy mistakes. I'm not, but at least he takes legit shots and gets them on net the large majority of the time, or he just misses. DeBrusk missed the net by 10 feet. Wasn't even close. And there they go the other way. And right then I said, this is over.
How hard did he work to get back?
He didn't.
He made a big lazy turn after that shot, too. It's not like he hard stopped and started going the other way. Nope. Just sort of futzing around out there. He's just out for a skate. He's totally been exposed.
Holy crap, does he blow.
Talk about all the things that have been impacted without Bergeron. He's number one.
And Mike, the last time I was on with you guys, you kind of brought up the Swayman thing, going at it with the coach. Since then, things haven't been right, so I'm wondering if, the coach is getting on the players now and they don't like it, and they got off to this great start. They're finally seeing adversity, and it's like the scoring has diminished, and really the play of some of the secondary scorers have diminished.